Good morning, guys. So today we're back at it again. This is my buddy's Honda Odyssey van. It's a '05, and he wanted me to put some solar on it. So there's our setup. Got a couple solar panels from Spartan Power. They're a super good deal right now on inverters RS. They're like 60 bucks for a 100-watt panel, so we decided to go with that. And then there's some aluminum mounting strips there. 1x1 tubing. I'll make a list of everything if you want and put it down. We got some of the cables to connect the solar panels, solar charge controller, a few miscellaneous screws, etc. So we're gonna get on with it. All right, so time to get up on this ladder and get on top of the roof. Now I pre-drilled one screw to figure out and laid out the aluminum tubing to figure out how I wanted to mount everything up. But we'll walk through that right now. No big deal. So I think I'm going to work from the roof, like get on top of it completely, because being on the ladder out here it's not as fun. So here we go. Trying to make sure I get all these shots, but here's our aluminum tubing. It's just I think this is actually 3/4, yeah, no, 1 inch. 1 inch square tubing, aluminum. I chose aluminum because it's lightweight. It's a 1/8 inch thick, or 16th inch thick. It's plenty thick enough for what we're gonna do. And aluminum doesn't really rust very easy, at least where he's gonna be. So I'm gonna put one up. And what I did ahead of time, let's see if I have it on here. I don't. Oh my gosh. I have it on another one, but we're gonna mark it out anyways because I wanted you guys to see what was happening. So I'm basically calling this point right here. There's like a cap here for the roof rack. That's about halfway or midway point for the roof rack. So I'm just gonna use that as a reference to put my rails. I wanna center it. These guys are 48 inches long, so I'm just going to put a mark right around the 2-foot mark. And so I know when it's time to put it up here, I'll just line it up about midway with that cap and level with the rack. Move the camera so you guys can see better, because I've been sucking at camera angles for the first few videos. I'm getting better though, I promise. And there it is. That's kind of how it's going to go. So we're going to put in a couple screws. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I'm going to go, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to do 5. And we're going to mount to the inside of the roof rack. Inside here. Let's see if we can get that camera up. I'm going to move up the camera. Inside here, there's a piece of metal that you can drill into. That's probably a little over 16 thick, maybe closer to an 1/8. Seems to be aluminum as well. And we're gonna drill into there and put some sheet metal screws, and that's how we'll fasten down to that. I already checked this out ahead of time and kind of planned it out, so I know I'm gonna have to use 2-inch long screws to get to there, because this guy here is 1 inch, and then to get into this area is about 1/4. So I just want to make sure I have enough length on the screw to get in there. So here we go. What we will do is start marking this guy out and get going. All right, here we go. So continuing, I'm setting up this square tubing for our mounting rack for the solar panel. And I'll get into detail later why I chose this way and how I'm going to orientate the panels. But for now, I just want to mark where exactly I'm going to put holes in this thing. And so I'm not struggling with it. I got some tape here, a little electrical tape, and I'm just going to tape it up just to hold it in place for now, you know, so I'm not struggling with it. All right, that's good enough. Cool. So we got this at the midway point of the tubing to the rack. It's lined up right here. And then I will Probably go about 2 inches inward from here and 2 inches inward from the down the way there as well. So we'll get started on that. So let's see, get our tape measure, 2 inches in, put a line, and then we'll go somewhere between that line and the midpoint to get our middle one. So that is, let's see, that is about 18 inches. Doesn't have to be like perfectly exact. 9 inches is right where we're at. I marked it here in the middle. And then we're gonna go 2 inches from this side. Move up the camera for you guys. Sorry for any delays. I got the camera phone that I'm watching. Make sure you guys get a good shot. All right, there's a 2 inch there mark. And then we're gonna go whatever the midpoint is from there to there. So from here to here it is, I'm measuring from the line I just marked to approximately the middle line. It's like 15.5 inches, so we'll go 7.5 ish. That's gonna be money. All right, cool. So we got our marks, and then I know by laying it out that just putting them like right in the middle, the holes should work out perfectly for us. So we'll put them right there. I'm gonna take this down and then get the other one marked out too, and we're just gonna drill the holes on the floor, so we're not up here fighting it. We are gonna have to do some drilling up here, but it's gonna be to the rack, and there's really no option for that other than unbolting the rack from the roof, and that's a lot of work. I'm not gonna do that. It's not worth it. I can drill a few holes up here on the ladder. All right, so we'll take a pause. All right, so we're gonna drill out the holes for the racks or the rails, whatever you want to call them. Our mounting surface, I had already marked that out, of course. And so I'm just gonna get my square. I mean, you don't have to get a square, but it makes it easier to mark it up. You could just kind of freehand it and get it generally in the right spot. But I'm gonna try to make it as sexy as possible and just put my T-square there, mark the line, last one, cool. And then I need to get approximately in the middle of that. We can get real gangsta and just like take our tape measure and go, all right, it's going to be 0.5 inches and try to make it all perfect. Or you could do it and go, yeah, that's the middle. That's the middle. That's pretty close. Let's see how good I am. That's right at 1/2 inch. That's right at 1.5 inches. So yeah, I mean, my eyes are calibrated. If you don't have calibrated eyes, then just use a tape measure. All right, so let me finish marking. Enough messing around. I don't like that one. That one's bothering me. It's like right there. All right, let's start the drilling. There we go. Here's our through hole bit. So this bit's a little larger than the screw because I want it just to kind of slide through there and have just a little bit of wiggle room. So I'm using my step ladder as my environment to go through here. So I'm just going to put one, try to get as center as I can. The best way would be to get a center punch if you got one. I'm not going to break it out. I'm drilling in aluminum, so it's easy to stay on the hole there. There we go. We got one hole punched through, and then we'll go with the other one. Perfecto. Go to the next ones. And I'll punch through them in a second here, but I just wanted to show y'all what I'm doing. So the next ones, we're going to go ahead and go through all the way. And I'm holding one side down with my hand while I put pressure on the other side. So Try to hold the drill as straight as possible. Get a decently drilled hole. I'm gonna flip it around and see if it came out. Yeah, pretty close to where it was. If you don't hold the drill in the right angle, if you try to hold it the best you can, because then you can have the screw come out way off on the other side. Oh my gosh, I didn't mark that one. Oh well, that's about middle right there. And let's test the screw to make sure it goes in there. Yeah, perfect. I'm drilling a through hole. I don't want to thread this in there. I want it to be able to slide in there like it's doing right now. Back in action. So we got the roof racks, the rails, solar racks, mounting racks, whatever you want to call them, that I'm putting in. All these pieces of aluminum I got from Home Desperate. They're readily available, and I'm doing what we did earlier. I'm just kind of putting it center, and then I'm going to have I'll put some tape here, some electrical tape to hold it in place while I drill. I don't have to be fighting it like I am now. Come on, baby. Alright. Do it as much as you need to get it to hold. I think that's pretty good there. I'll put another piece over yonder. Alright. And then I'll just kind of nudge it in place to where it's kind of even. Still looks sexy. It's not gonna be perfectly even because the rack kind of changes height a little bit here, because it's got like a taper, but you can get it pretty dang close. Down there. All right. Alrighty, I think I'm happy with that right there. Here. So you can see I already drilled all these holes, right? Pre-drilled both sides. I'm just gonna drill it in place. I'm not gonna try to get too crazy with trying to mark it out. It's just such a pain to do that. And we're trying to do a quick install. He obviously doesn't want me to charge him much. He's my buddy, so I'm not, but it still work. So here we go. I'm just going to try to put it through the both existing holes. You can see it got through there, and then just make sure my drill bit's nice and straight. It might be off a little bit. Looks fine. Should get your drill bit in there center and tight before you go. Really seems like it's walking in there. No, the drill's fine. All right, we are through. And then I'm going to put one brand new pan head Phillips screw inside there to hold this guy in place. I'll make sure I get good camera angles for you guys. So I'm adjusting the camera as we go. All right, here we go. Got it in there. I'm just giving it a couple little tippity taps on my impact wrench. It should self-drill through there. Or it didn't. Like this one snapped off. Great. Okay. Glad we got that on camera. So I had a challenge with this at another solar install. I'm using all stainless, so it's a little softer, but it's going to last a long time. And if you don't do a proper hole, this is a 5/32 drill bit, which is what was indicated on a chart I looked at as a proper drill bit, but it's not. So we're probably going to go a little bit bigger so we avoid all that. So I'll just punch another hole in on the side, and I'm not going to try to fight getting this thing out. I'll put one right next to it, and we'll start with the next ones. So let me gear up and get another drill bit, and we'll go a little wider than the 5/32. All right, back we are again. Excuse me. Back in action here. So I jumped up to a 3/16 bit. That's the next size up for us to drill, pre-drill our hole for our screw. All right, this time we're through there. And things happen, guys. Sometimes things don't go as planned. Don't sweat it. Keep moving forward. Find the solution. 3/16 was also listed, but I get paranoid and I'm like, I gotta use the smallest one to make sure the hole's tight. And it bit me. So we're here, look at this. Freaking beautiful. 3/16 is the way to go. So we're gonna have to re-drill this bad dog right here. But now that we got one in place here, this will hold the whole rack while I'm messing around with it. So I don't need all this tape. I'm not going to take it off yet, but now I know it's not going to slide or whatever. So I always like to do that and drill it in place, get one down. Now we'll go and move on with our lives and drill the rest. That's all the way through. Hopefully we don't hit some nut or bolt right there. We'll find out in a second. Beautiful. Dang. It's so sexy right there. I might not be able to post this on YouTube because it's too sexy. Alright, next hole. This one's up a little higher on this side, which is kind of what I wanted. Give it a little bit of a rake, but it's still going to get in the hole pretty good. Near center, probably like, I don't know, maybe a little over a 16th off over there. It's all good. There we go. Beautiful. Another screw in there. Now, don't drop the screws. There we go. Beautiful. All right, we got our next screw in there, and then we shall put the rest. So there we go. I'm gonna blaze through this now. Probably won't talk much no more. Sorry, here we go. Super beautiful. God dang, that's beautiful. Now I'm gonna stand up and try not to fall off the van, just to show you how sexy this mother looks. Wow, you see those dogs? All right, now what's gonna happen next is I'm gonna put the solar panels on, and they're gonna mount left to right. You know, the length is gonna go left to right. I had spec'd this out. This roof rack is, I believe, 41¼ inches or 40¼ something like that. Anyways, so I can mount them lengthwise, 2 of them. We're going to do one here, one over there where the drills are at, and see how it goes. All right, continuing on, I'm going to go ahead and add another couple screws just to make sure we've really got it on there. So far we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 I laid out earlier, but I want to add, just to be safe, one up here, because this is where all the front lift will be. You know, if you're driving down the road, this is where the panel will tend to want to pull up, right? Who knows how fast this guy's going to be driving. He drives kind of crazy. So I'm going to put another one on each side here, just for good measure. This is way better system than the skinny brackets that you get from most of the solar companies. I believe they include a number 12 screw, which is what I'm using here anyways. So this is already above and beyond, but because I get paranoid and I just want to make sure, triple sure, I'm gonna do it anyways. And so it's not gonna hurt, right? Having more screws and being more secure than less. So here we go. Okay, we're finally all done with the rack system. I ended up putting a couple more screws in between the other points, just to make sure. This thing's going to Texas, and you know, there's tornadoes in Texas, lots of wind. So we got 18 total screws now. So I feel really confident about this thing now. I'm sure the solar panels will be surviving the tornado and the van will be trashed. So we're going to move on to putting the solar panel on, or at least mocking it up and putting the mounts here, these racks, the rest of the rack setup that I'm making all custom, right? So I got the solar panel right behind me. Look how sexy that thing looks. So what we're going to do here, get that down, grab the solar panel, and essentially the way I set it up, it should set right on top. Yep, it's sitting right on top of the rack. And I've done this setup before on my RV, and I've been running it for like 3 years now. We've been on multiple trips. I got 600 watts of solar on the roof, and it's held really solid, no leaks, etc. So we'll get to it, and we'll get back. Right, here's the back of the solar panel. What you want to do first is get the wires that come straight off the solar panel, start feeding them that way toward the back. Don't drop the solar panel. Grabbing them and just setting them back here somewhere. Good time to have the tape. Of course, I put it back. Sometimes I'll do that. I'll put it back and then like, oh, I don't need this anymore. And then I'm like, dang it, what did I put that back for? So I'm gonna go get the tape. Got the tape now back on the roof. or at least on the ladder. And I'm going to grab my wiring. And just for now, you can see that. I'm gonna just tape it off, just one piece, real quick, just so I'm not struggling with it. Tape it back here. There we go. All right. So now what I'm doing is I'm basically just aligning this to make sure each side's even. I think I got about 3/16, not quite a quarter on each side. All right, here we go. We got to finish up this mounting system. So I'm gonna go perpendicular with the bracket here, and across the two I got 40 1/4. So I'm gonna come back down and measure these bad boys out here, 40 1/4. We're gonna cut our first one at 40 1/4 and then mount it and go from there. All right, we're gonna get to measuring this guy out at 40 1/4 inches so that we can cut it. 40 1/4 is what we had. Bam. Got our T-square. Mark a couple lines. All right, and then we're going to use our handy dandy reciprocating saw here to cut this aluminum. I'm just going to set it up on top of these cardboard boxes just to get a quick cut for it. Okay, I made my line. I got a metal cutting blade on. Got a good battery, so I'm just gonna get to it. Just cut it as straight as possible. Slow. Flex this up against it. Yeah, shaking like a crap game. Not as smooth as I wanted it to go, but we're gonna file that down there. Pretty close. All right. So this is gonna be our bracket up top. Let's get up there and see. You can see that shot. Probably not. All right, now you can. Okay, here's the piece we just cut right here. We're gonna go across this guy, bolt that down to there, and then screw the panel into this bracket. So there's our first one. I'll measure the other ones and do the same thing. Alrighty, we got a couple more pieces cut. And if you want to be a good boy, you take a file and file down at rough little edges so nobody cuts their finger. You gotta be safe. And just filing the little excess or whatever is sharp. It's not much, it just takes an extra couple minutes and makes things look better and it's safer for everybody. So, all right, I'll continue this and we'll get rid of the mountain soon. All right, everybody, I got this solar panel down on the ground now, and I'm getting ready to mount the brackets on there. So I want to lay them out, mark them up first. And first things first, we're gonna go get the camera angle right. I'm gonna measure the center, find the center of this solar panel. So it's 38 3/4. So half of that is what? Who knows the math? 17, 18, 19. 19 is half of 38. And then half of 3/4 is, that's the same as 6/8, so 3/8. 19 3/8 is what we're going to do. 19 3/8. 1 2 3/8. Just a little mark right there. All right, that's cool. And then we're gonna drill the center of this, or find the center of this guy, each one of the brackets that we made. So 19 13/16. Whew. That was, my brain's boiling. 19 13/16. 19, 1 2 3. Here we go. 19 13/16 there. That's the center. Let's mark it out here too. This somewhere we can see it actually. 19 3/16. Trying to get it as center as possible. Screen keeps going out on this thing. All right. Anyways, I marked the center point there, and I'm gonna line it up with the center point that I made on my solar panel, and then install the bracket into there. So, alrighty, getting ready to mount these brackets to the solar panels. So earlier I was doing all the measurement and stuff. Basically just find the center line of the bracket and the center line of the solar panel and line that up, and then put your first screw there. Drill it out on a nice even surface so you can make sure that the brackets are in the same plane as the solar panel. Cool. So I'll get to drilling. I'm not going to mark it out too crazy. I already know my center line's at, so I'm just going to, pop a hole like in the middle-ish area here. So we don't waste too much time. I want to get the first one in there. That's about center. Let me get that shot. Oh, it walked on me. Put it back in the center. All right, it's right there. Here we go. I'll just pull it away and then do our cut. All right, we're through. And back to center we go. All right. There's one there. What I like to do again is, once we get one screw in there, that'll kind of lock everything in place, and we could drill from there. All right, I just did it till it bottomed out. These are the ones I'm using now, are self-tapping screws. So I got the little blade to cut with, but I put a pilot hole in them first just to get us started properly. So there's that. We got that one hole there, and then I'll just continue and add another, I don't know, We'll probably do at least 3 total. Maybe we can get 4. I'll do 1 on each end over here. We got the center one. Maybe we'll get real crazy and do like 5 on each side. I'll probably feel good about that. So, all right, let me set that up and we'll get back. All right, so I marked out where I'm going to put all my holes at. I roughly did 1 inch in on each side from the solar panel edge over here as well. And then I found the midpoint between the center screw and the screw I'm about to put in. That's 1 inch from the edge. So that's it. We'll drill it out and then we'll do the other side. So again, finding I got my mark right there. Marks right there. And then I'll just find approximate center there of the material. And then it helps to brace the other side of the panel. I'm going to grab it from the other side here. Hopefully you can still see what I got going. See, I have my hand over there. That one went in a lot easier. We'll do this other one. Don't worry. If you want to mark center with a tape measure, but I can find center good. Right, put a few screws in there, and then we'll go just watch and draw. All right, so there we are, solar panels with brackets all mounted up. Getting ready to take them to the van and install them. Continuation. Got to finish up this solar panel install. So we went through all the rest of the stuff, put it on the brackets, etc. Now it's time to mount the solar panel to our bracket system. So I'm going to use a 1/4 bolt, all stainless steel. It's like 1.5 inches to mount this guy over here. It's going to go through there. So we'll get to it. I'm going to punch a pilot hole through here and basically just try to center the hole to the bracket to the rail. And I already lined up the panel. Like, I went to each side, make sure every corner is aligned, and it's pretty freaking close. It looks pretty good right there. So here we go. Let's just start drilling the hole out there. Grab the drill. Put it about center. And you can mark this. I'm not always marking it myself. Like I said, I'm pretty good at eyeballing it, and I can get it fairly close enough to where I'm satisfied with the end result. So that's about 1/2 inch in. These are 1 inch wide pieces of tubing. So here we go. Getting close to the solar panel there, so I'm gonna lengthen the bit a little bit. I think I have an 1/8 bit that's longer. I do. They sell longer bits, obviously, if you didn't know that. So I'll probably break that out right now if I can't get it. There we go. It punched through. All right, and then I'm going from this 732 pilot bit to 1/4 inch, which is the size, pretty much the diameter of the bolt. So we'll get it popping right now. There we go. I'm up here on this ladder. I'm just trying to be careful. Okay. Oh, of course, Rich. You got a freaking broken drill bit in there. All right. Taking a pause. All right, so now we're gonna drill the 1/4 inch through hole with this bit, the 1/4 inch bit. We already did the pilot hole, so we're just gonna follow that same hole. Getting close. Cool. Now we gotta get to the lower portion. Alrighty, we're through that. A lot of shavings here. I recommend you vacuum up every time. I'm gonna do that, but before we do that, I'll just show you kind of what I'm thinking here, what we got going on. So there's the 1/4 bolt. We'll put a nut and a washer that goes through there, right? And then if you can see this shot, I'm gonna make sure. There we go. You can see it coming through 1/4 inch tubing, and it comes out the bottom there, and we'll just put a lock nut, so that'll be a nice strong connection. All right, here we go. I decided to break out the nice handy dandy 1/8 inch pilot bit. This is an extra long one. Make things a little easier to drill through that rack, so we're not hitting the edge. Throw this in the choke. Just like the last one, I'm going to try to get about center between the piece of square tubing, the rail, and have at it. Let's see. All right. Here we go. New drill bits are always nice. They cut so quickly. So I try to buy some new ones every now and then. It just makes life a lot easier. I'm going to switch over to the larger 1/4 inch bit and get it going. There we go. Almost through. There we go. All right, cool. So we got that. I'm going to vacuum up, and then we'll drop another bolt in there just to keep it all aligned. I mentioned that earlier. I like to do that. I'll drill a couple holes, put in screws or bolts, and then it keeps everything locked in place, so I don't have to worry about things shifting as I drill in place. Alrighty. All right, check it out. There's our finished product all mounted. We got our 4 bolts there mounted up. I think it looks pretty sexy. So I'm going to continue and put on the other one, but I just want to show you a quick cut of the finished product.